The AFTV USA Tour is brought to you today by NordVPN. NordVPN offers you secure and private internet browsing on the go with maximum protection.
You can stream all your geo-blocked programs, and it's fast. From a click of a button, you can be anywhere in the world.
Feel invincible with NordVPN and get an exclusive deal by clicking this link in the description.
Hey everyone, welcome back to AFTV. Arsenal have beaten Orlando 3-1 in a pre-season friendly. We want to go through the 5 main takeaways. I know it's just a pre-season friendly, but we still got to talk through, see what we've learned from that game, see what Arteta will have learned from that game. But before we go into all, big thanks to our sponsors, NordVPN. If you're like Cecil, you're out here in Florida, you want to be catching Love Island, all those geo-blocked shows, you can watch using NordVPN. And of course, have your privacy protected and defended, like you've got William Saliba at the back from any hackers as well. That is all covered on NordVPN. So go check it out in the link in the description below. Let's go straight into it because we've seen Arsenal I think, listen, more of a first team start of the game against Everton. In this game against Orlando, we saw, I don't always like saying second string, but if we're being really blunt, we're being really honest, a lot of the players that went out and started that game against Orlando, they're not going to really have a future. So we've got to talk about kind of what we'll have learnt from that. But focusing more on the second half to start, which I know, weird place to start, but I think we've got to. My first point, my first main takeaway is that I think there's a real chance that White, Gabriel and Saliba are all going to be starting games together this season. And we're going to take it straight to the tactical pad because I've been missing a little bit of the tactical shows, all that. We're going to take it straight to the tactical pad and look at that 11 we had for a lot of the second half. In fact, I think pretty much finished the game. Okay, Bellerin got some minutes in the end at left back over Tavares. But having a look at it, this is the team, again a 4-3-3. We looked a lot better when the likes of Granit Xhaka came into that pocket. We saw Odegaard in the team, Partey sort of distributing from deep. But what's interesting about Ben White, I know he's a centre-back converted right-back, and listen, over the last 10-20 years, you've seen full-backs bomb up and down the pitch, providing width, getting forward, crossing balls into the box. Ben White doesn't naturally do that. But when we signed Ben White, I remember doing a breakdown on him, this is a player that we mentioned how he has slotted in at right-back, he's slotted in at midfield, and with Arsenal playing with these inverted full-backs, it does mean that White very naturally comes into just positions that he's comfortable in when he's playing as a right back anyway. So if we illustrate it here, what you tend to see again, Bukayo Saka pull out wide. We've gone through this so many times in the tactical shows we've done with Graham. Nelson pulling wide again, Jesus dropping into that space, Odegaard and Xhaka wanting to receive the ball, Partey the distributor, and it means White and Tavares will come into those more inverted roles. I think because of that and the nature of having him, again if we just illustrate it with the arrows, why is it not working? Here we go. Illustrate it with the arrows, everything sort of filtering through Saliba into White, into Odegaard, into Saka. I think you've just naturally got a player who can play that inverted role so comfortably and you're not feeling like you're really changing his role too much. You even have situations where maybe, I don't know, let's illustrate it here. Tavares maybe comes out wide, Xhaka slots in, and then you've got more of a back three sitting. White, again, very comfortable there. I think we saw it in the second half. The back four was very untroubled compared to the first half, where balls over the top were constantly a feature for Orlando. Arsenal weren't really able to deal with what they were doing more directly. White, Saliba, Gabriel might well be the starting back, well, 3 of the starting back 4 come the Palace game, especially with Tomiyasu not getting minutes in pre-season yet. So that is certainly a worry. Let's go into my second point now, which is more about Saliba. Now look, it comes with the usual caveats. Okay, Orlando and MLS side, I mean it with all due respect, that they didn't come in on brilliant form, but they're also not the sort of level of opposition we're going to be used to playing week in, week out in the Premier League. So how much can you judge William Saliba? Well, what you can judge is the fact that Holding and Mari had problems in that first half. They couldn't deal with the long ball, their positioning was a bit all over the place. Obviously they equalised, it came from just a little bit of a mess in the back four from Arsenal. William Saliba, White, Gabriel were dealing with everything, but Saliba in particular, he just makes defending look so easy. He barely looks like he breaks sweat. He doesn't look like he's panicking when he's in those one-on-one duels. I've got to say, and I said this in the Everton, but also mainly the Nuremberg game where Jesus had a real impact. You can talk about players and the opposition they're up against and that level, whatever. But you can definitely judge them as well with what they're doing amongst their players around them, their peers. And Saliba really is standing out. And I thought Gabriel actually did really well as when he came in, and they've definitely got a good understanding quite early on. But Saliba looks very comfortable. He's dribbling into space when he can. He's keeping possession. He's looking comfortable to play out the back, but he's dealing with the one-on-one duels brilliantly. And listen, I think we've got a right to get excited. It's early, it's pre-season, but I'm sure we'll see him get game time against Chelsea, and I think we're going to get a really good understanding for quite how good he could be. And listen, as things stand, I think he's starting against Crystal Palace, but we'll come back to that in a bit. All right, on to my third point, the squad is still too big. We saw a little bit of it yesterday, actually, because when I saw, Arteta ring the changes at half-time and through the second half, and I still saw, okay, Walters hasn't been given minutes, and you still got Balogun, and Marquinhos didn't get any game time, and you still got Vieira, Tomiyasu, Tierney, all to come back. So let's illustrate it here on the tactical pad. And I've sort of broken them down into positions in a 4-3-3, and there's still just far too many. It's far too bloated a squad. Pablo Mari, what's his future like? He was on loan, he'd been linked with moves away. Runnison, I've got Bernd Leno. Where are their futures? Bernd Leno, you think he's going to go be a first teamer, he's been linked with Fulham. And then let's just point out some of the others. Hector Bellerin. What's Nuno Tavares' future going to be? Me and Robbie have a bet going. Is Zinchenko going to be a left back, or is he going to play in midfield? But the point is, even with Zinchenko, let's say he was to be a midfielder, he can cover a left back and will probably be trusted more than Tavares in the Premier League. So where's Tavares going to be? By the way, I thought it actually looked okay in pre-season, to be fair, although didn't do great on the goal yesterday. Maitland-Niles. You've still got him, Lucas Torreira, who I believe left the Arsenal camp, still to be confirmed. Marquinhos and Pepe, I'm going to put them in there because I know we just signed Marquinhos, but what's his involvement going to be? Will he get a loan? Probably not, but how much is he going to be playing in the squad? Balogun, does he need another loan? And then you still got players like Reece Nelson, who I thought impressed yesterday, but are we going to take one performance against Orlando and start sort of convincing us that maybe he can be the one to be playing week in, week out in the Premier League? I don't know. I want him to keep impressing. It's a good headache. But, you look at those players, and you've got the idea that Arsenal are still going to bring in one, maybe even two more, proper signings who are going to cost quite a bit of money. The squad is still too big. And listen, it's not impacting pre-season minutes. I'd like to see other players getting minutes, but it's definitely something that still needs to be addressed. And I just thought, watching the Orlando game, I was sitting there thinking, and do you know what? It's not just that it's too big. It's that there's just far too big a drop-off. Now, you can play Everton in a pre-season friendly when they've got a few first-teamers out, or maybe Chelsea when we face them. And you can say, yeah, the more second 11 doesn't look as good as the first, and that's a problem. But when you're facing Orlando, and again, really I'm dismissing them, and I don't mean to, but really it was an opportunity for that second 11 to show a little bit of fluency, a little bit of rhythm, a little bit of just to say, listen, we can compete at this level. And they didn't look good in that first half, I'll be honest, and that is a worry. So still a lot of work to do in that squad. Arteta said that there's going to be some outgoings, maybe some incomings as well, being reported in the media. So still a lot to do, and there's only 2 weeks left till the start of the season. Okay, the window goes on a couple more weeks after, but you want the main bulk in and sort of sorted and the squad trimmed down come that first game of the season. Another one I want to go into, my fourth point, I'm really glad we signed Fabio Vieira. Now, why am I talking about him when he didn't even play? We've not even seen him in an Arsenal shirt. I think this point is mainly stemming from the fact that in that second half I saw Odegaard come on, who, by the way, was my man of the match. And I just thought he linked brilliantly with Saka, he linked brilliantly with the forwards. He played some lovely through balls, whether it was Jesus making runs, whether it was Nketiah one and beyond as well. And he was constantly finding them. He was switching the play when necessary. I thought he had a really good relationship and understanding with Partey, White, Saka, all on his side of the pitch. And it just got me thinking, if we lose Odegaard, we lose so much incisiveness, we lose so much creativity, so much just natural playmaking ability in that team. And the fact that we've got Vieira just to ease that, listen, we're not seeing him in an Arsenal shirt, he might disappoint. I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to be brilliant, but just to know that it's not, you don't lose all your creative penetration and inventiveness when Odegaard's not in the team. I'll be honest, Maitland-Niles and Lokonga in those 2-8s, mainly Maitland-Niles who's playing on Odegaard's side, I thought just struggled to, he kept things ticking, he did okay. But he's not an Odegaard. Listen, I don't think he's even meant to be. I think he's a different style of footballer. But, when Odegaard wasn't in, Maitland-Niles was playing that role, and it just didn't really work for me. So I'm glad we've got Vieira. I'm glad we've got a player through the door who can just, I think, ease that stress when someone like Odegaard isn't available for whatever reason. So I'm glad we got him in. My final point, there's a real connection between Gabriel Jesus and Eddie Nketiah. And look, I've been a bit apprehensive to get a little bit too excited about Nketiah's form at the end of last season and in pre-season because, you know, there's context to all those things. But I will say, you know, with every game I watch, Nketiah's looking more and more comfortable, looking more and more like the real deal. He's looking like more of a ball carrier. He's looking like he, you know, playing out on the left. He's looking comfortable. By the way, he looked good on the left last pre-season. Actually, when he had moments on the left throughout last season, he looked okay. But him and Jesus are able to play quite close together. They're linking quite well. When one goes up front, the other drops to the left wing, and it's not really interrupting the fluidity of the team, the movement of the front three. There's a good understanding between them. And if Eddie keeps up this form, and you know, he's got a Chelsea game to prove it, he's then got the Sevilla game in the Emirates Cup, they will be tougher opposition. If he keeps up this form, I think there's a chance he starts at Palace. I think there's a chance he starts at Palace on the left with Jesus up front. Now I think Martinelli looked quite good in the Everton game. He didn't get a lot of credit that maybe I think he deserved. In this game, okay, deflected goal, but I think he struggled to really have an impact. And I think Eddie is giving Arteta a real headache, and I think the understanding he's got with Jesus early on is going to be a big part of that. So we'll see, guys. That's my fifth and final point. I'd love to know what you took away from the game. It is just pre-season, you can't take away too much. A lot of it was reinforcing things we knew, like Saliba's form, like maybe White covering at right back when Tomiyasu's missing, like the fact that we needed depth for Odegaard. But I think the Orlando game just brought it out a little bit more for me. So let me know what you guys think. And of course, don't forget to check out NordVPN. The link is in the description, all the details there as well. So yeah, smash a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet so you can be kept up with everything we're doing out here in Orlando. It's been great, lots of content still to come. Look forward to the next game, Chelsea on Saturday.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.